Go. Let it go. Lord, help me let it go. 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 Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go. Yeah, let it go. Yeah, let it go. Help me let it go. Master Jesus, let it go. Yeah, help me let it go. Go, 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 go. Oh, let it go. I'm tired, let it go. Give your heart to Jesus. Let him take control. Just sit and worship. I know it hurts you, and I know it's painful. No way to wait, so you have to let it go. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Let it go. Your wife is getting married to another man. Your husband are falling in love with another woman. Don't let it bother you. I say let it go. If someone overlook you because you live in zero, if they insult you because you don't have nobody, if you say you will continue to be a zogo, if you say you will continue to be a prostitute, if you say you will continue to be a beggar, you will not marry, you will not bear your own children, if you say your knee is borrow, Sunday go to meeting, mommy can say no, Johnny Ginger. Just let it go. Jesus will change your story. Let it go. 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 Lord, help me let it go. Help me let it go, man.
Yeah. Mighty blow. Holla, holla. Nobody do it like you do it, you a true God. Yes. You always hear me when I say my prayer with few words. But Genesis and they plenty in this new world. Read the Bible every day, that while I'm still a good boy. Jehovah bigger than your problem, so just let it go. Just keep on praying, he will make your blessing overflow. To be the best and money rest, you gotta pray more. The God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the God of mighty blow. But there is power in your blood, that while I'm giving praises. Yes. I gotta dance that David dance, they think I'm getting crazy. But love is how you make it, brother, may not be his day. Every time I sin, I'm on my knees, begging God for mercy. Thank you for your God blessing and forgiveness. You solved my problem, Lord, you took me from the wilderness. Now only you can feel my struggle when I'm really stressed. So my papa bless me, then my enemy they getting best. No matter what the problem is, man, just let it go. Your delay is not your denial, everybody know. Just keep on trusting in Jehovah, he will give you more. He took me from the grass, he can take you from the rock and roll. Yeah.
Your people are suffering, lying in the hospital, suffering from all kinds of sickness.
I want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you. We are back here this evening after being catch up with Uncle Saint. It's better late than never. So let's just let it go. The last few days wasn't on. Our sincere apologies. And now we have my own sister right there from Minneapolis. Welcome to the program this evening. China Solo, Joe Tiwe. Tiwe meant good evening, welcome. Let us go to Victor, and of course, our own contributor, May Koto Blessings, say welcome here this evening, and of course, Yvonne Sierra Thompson, good evening, welcome. I'm Afonso Z and sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. It's time to get this program going. So let's welcome. We say thank you so much for being here at this event. I'm Afonso Zayan, sort of the Liberia Public Radio. The analysts will be here very shortly. Good evening and welcome. I'm Afonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Hopefully the internet service here is kind of a little bit frozen from what I see here, but hopefully it will work out here. So we say good evening, welcome. I want apologies for not being here for the past few days. Just hold on 1 second. Let me do some little bit house cleaning. I'm not sure what's going on here. The system seems to be frozen here. The Liberia is not here, so why is it acting up here? So let's just take this quick break and we'll be right back. Let's see if we can make some quick adjustment here to the system here, and then we will get the program right on the way here this evening. Whoa, 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 whoa. Love is all we need to make it stay. This is the time to come together. Keep Liberia safe forever. So open up your heart and let the unity begin. Love is all we need to make it stand. Let's cultivate one another. Learn to live together as brothers and sisters. Without togetherness. Let's see here. Good evening and welcome. I'm Afonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. This is All Things Considered. It comes your way every Wednesday right here on the Diaspora Informative News Network, Liberia Public Radio. So I apologize for not showing or in the last couple of days. As you know, this country is an equalizer. You don't want to miss your exit. If that happens, it's going to cost you extra buzz. Ask Joe Tiwe when we used to go down to all the way to having our association meetings and all of that. One of our pap going to Worcester, he ended being in New Hampshire. What happens? He screwed up. He missed his exit, and that cost him extra cash. What? Good evening to welcome. I'm Afonso Z and Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR TV. As usual, Wednesday, we are here on this network to discuss a wide range of issues, news, making headlines in Liberia and other parts of the world. And Wednesday program is perfectly suited to give you the opportunity to also speak to your country, air your views, speak what is in your mind. Perhaps we are not playing into your talking point or things that you wish that we talk about. And so all things considered on a wide range of issues, all things considered literally allows you to make your own choice to speak your mind, be it political, social, economic, whatever that comes to your head as a Liberian. You have the right to speak to it, and this is why we designed this program in a way that it will appeal to you and will allow you to form part of what we are doing here on this network. And again, we said We are sorry the past few days. Try to get some things catch up. On the back here too is not set up. It makes it a little bit difficult. But notwithstanding, we are here to have the conversation here this evening. Wherever you are, under the sound of my voice, you are on the official news outlet of the Liberia Public Radio. We have a taboo here. Not necessarily the soundbite, the conversations you intend to hear. Drama and entertainment is at a very minimal scale on this here, but we do inside that for some recreation purposes. But too much is ongoing in our country and around the world. So what is the point that people who wants to know what is going on in their country, in their communities and society, why you are insult to injured by adding more drama into the already unfolding endless drama in their lives? So we intend to have a conversation. We intend to have a national conversation, proportional, that allows you to also speak about your country, how you feel. And the main hallmark here, we always say, take control of your own destiny. Do not allow politicians or be advocate for yourself. Simple as it is. I talk for myself. Any other thing other people talk out there is for themselves. So I do it. I talk for myself. Do not allow us to even talk. Even when we say, hey, go behind us and check and make sure what we are saying is right, and that we are all held accountable equally, not just on the politicians alone or those in offices. Moreover, you as our viewers, listeners, you must also be held accountable to your comments, your tweet, the falsehood, the subliminal messages, the makeup, just to entice people, just to make people to glue to what you are saying. It's wrong. It is unacceptable. That's just not good. But how many of us realize that? Because we love entertainment. The show is about to get on the way. Our analysts, panelists, contributor, they are here. They will be coming. We're going to be having this conversation. Stay tuned. Okay, let's bring in our man. Is Jonathan Tayo Dolake, is a senior contributor of the Liberia Public Radio. He's based in the Liberia state and a strong supporter of the opposition's Alternative National Congress, ANC, of Liberia, not South Africa. Let me just bring him in and let's have this conversation here. Because we've been away here for a little while. Let me bring in our man, Mr. Dulaket. Jonathan is here with me. Jonathan, I'm not sure what happened to your camera. It seems to be okay. He's frozen. But guys, we're going to open the phone lines here as well, and you're going to have you're going to partake into this conversation here. Guess what? 236 days. 236 days. The presidential and legislative elections in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. While our contributors right here based in my own ocean state, a writer, an educator, an advocate, but he yet to establish his political identity. He said he's no more longer of an party. I don't know. I don't know. Well, we take him for his word. Let me bring in Mr. Jones Otavius Mallet. He's based here in the ocean state of Rwanda and is a senior contributor of the Liberia Public Radio. Mr. Mallet Jones, good evening. Welcome.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I don't know. I was told, I don't know whether it was your own comment, but somebody threw in a group chat that you will be making a formal declaration to make a political pick here. Is somebody trying to get under your skin, or is that you send that comment in?
Yeah, director. This is a platform, and it's like many times people try to get at some of the panelists, probably to get in under their skin to find out exactly what's going on in their mind. But actually, the information is not true.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, that information is not true. Probably someone tried to set what I call an indirect agenda for discussion, but the information.
Is it possible that we can make it direct?
This is from the horse's mouth.
Oh, okay. So no way that we can make it direct.
Well, we can make it direct, but as at now, as what I told you the last time, I haven't jumped in any camp or made selection of any candidate that I would like to support. As I told you, I have a philosophy now that I have developed since I last voted for Helen Johnson's leave. And that is, I'm now focused on the substance now of a presidential material rather than focus on the political party that should be presenting a platform.
So it's not meant to put you on the to crucify you here this evening in this talking point. Mr. Dulaketai, good evening and welcome.
Yes, good evening, Mr. So, and good evening, Mr. Marley.
Good evening, sir, and welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, before I go to Amen Dulake, so was it that you were on the wrong side of history the last time around, for which this time around you were kind of like careful in doing what you want to do, or what?
Partly yes, partly no. I say yes because we come from a political setting in Liberia, whereas we've been discussing of late in recent past, where I have come to the conclusion that no one is now prepared to work on the voters, to work to improve their ability to understand what they are involved in. So at the end of the day, I realize people are now taking advantage of the illiterate masses to get to the executive mansion. And it's not only illiteracy, there are a whole lot of things in the package. Poverty, psychological problem. So people are now taking advantage of the illiterate masses to find their way into politics in Africa and Liberia, to be specific, that I can vouch for. So when I say partly yes, I'm coming from that background. So I realized that even some of the current political aspirant who want to become president of Liberia, no one is concerned about discussing improving the mental capacity of the huge chunk of illiterate people, because they have come with the intention of also exploiting them to get to the executive mansion.
Okay,
So,
hold your peace.
Uh-huh.
Hold your peace. I think it looks like this. We are moving on a high speed here this evening. So I'm not sure what something is not going right with my system here, but hopefully we'll get it. Okay, Jonathan, good evening. Welcome, my dear brother. Janet, are you hearing me, Jonathan?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. So. Good evening, Mr. So. Is a few squad.
Like do you have some developing news here for us? This is unusual. It looks like something happening we need to know about.
No, I just feel glad to see you guys, folks, out there today. I know it's not an easy task to always make yourself available, and so just welcome me.
Okay, as you guys know, folks, viewer, just bear with me. I'm not sure what's going on with my system. It's kind of like kept frozen off and on, but let's hopefully the audio is good. But again, to say our sincere apologies for the last couple of days. We have not been here, and then we purpose not to, but you know, this land is a land of equalizer too. So sometimes people it gets so tight that we can't get stuff done. Let me see. I'm not sure here. Just bear with me. I'm not sure why this. Okay, let's see. Hopefully we'll go. But okay, on the me conversation here, as you know, Wednesday is all things considered, and so we allow people to also speak on some specifics, some of the things that are alarming in the country, even with on their own belt, their political side, they are at liberty to do so. But one of the things is 236 days, man, Jonathan, to the presidential and legislative elections in Liberia. Why my video is doing like this today? Is that Sissy doing that, or I don't know? Is he here already? I heard some Russian have not infiltrated my system. The liberal is not here, so I don't know whether he left somebody in charge to do this thing with Kaute. Senator, they are smiling here in Korea. They even you.
No, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool.
But you're not cool with me now. How will you say you're cool? I'm not sure what's going on. Okay, we'll see. We'll figure out. Maybe
you read it too much.
Eh?
I said you read it too much.
You see the man. You see the yeah, the man says. Okay, Sese, good evening. Welcome.
How you doing, everybody? Hey, Jonathan, my man, you left. You came back looking like me. Hey, Mr. Prince, how you doing?
My Elon, so I gotta imitate you.
I think they said this should be the signature haircut of the platform. All contributors should get this haircut. So, Mr. Jones, you know the boys in your court.
Sese, why are you always like to start trouble?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Sissy. If we believe in the democratic tenets,
oh boy,
I think you should give the right and privileges to the rest of the panelists to make some informed decision. Now you are imposing your haircut style on the rest of the panelists.
Democracy only applies in the larger society. That's why when you go to school, they give you uniform. So when you're in a setting, you have there are certain privileges and rights that come with private entities. That's why private school can make you wear uniform. The only thing you say is your right to not wear uniform.
I see.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
The man, I put a defense line. You not caught. Maybe we got to find magic powder and carry there while sleeping and tell you say you get spray over. Okay, guys, folks, I apologize. I don't know why my video kind of like off and on, but hopefully the audio is not doing that. But guys, again, thank you so much. I sincerely apologize. Maybe we need to have a conversation that even if one person is not here, somebody should be able to take charge to, yeah, I think that's very, very much important. And probably we'll have that conversation in the backyard.
Yeah, so we don't be looking like Johnny Foka, one man, the principal, the student council, and the sponsor for the senior class.
Yeah, you're so you're gonna know. I hear that Johnny Foka need long. Where you come from? Yeah, no, seriously, we have to have that conversation so we can get things done. Yeah, but this is all things considered. But guys, I was just checking, and from what I gather on the NEC web, 236 days. Yeah, presidential and legislative elections. 236. By the time we go here, it's going to be all over. And I'm not sure whether we are doing much enough. If I say we, I'm talking about all of the actors, the player. Are we getting all of the informations? Are they coming forth? Do we have a complete team? So the Liberians can be able to have that sort of alternatives. I think I can go on this side. I can go on this side. That is not happening. That's a concern. Jennington.
Yes.
So let's bring you in here. You have a big stake in here. Hey, Bob Baswako, Evelyn, welcome. You have a big stake in here. You are one of the. You align with a political party that is beyond order. Is a principal player into this whole thing here. 236 days, man. Come on. Are we going to divide this into half to see your side to be complete, to be completed, to be in whole? What's going on? Which quarter do Honorable Cummings are referring to? Are we in a quarter now or still far from that line?
I think 236 days demonstrate clearly that the election is just nearby. It will soon be taking place. It's on the shoulders of all Liberians. political parties as well playing very major role. And so all of the steps along the way to making sure that that process, that is the electoral process, is free, fair, credibly done, is out of our focus, because it will demonstrate how Liberia will be propelled by the next leader. And so for me, my take on this 236 days is the issue of Lexton. Lexton is the company that should be doing the BVR, that is the biometric voter registration process.
Mm-hmm.
They should begin March 20 and end April 9 for the first segment or phase of the process.
Right.
The bidding process that brought into the process, or that they won on, stated that they should pre-finance. The tender document section RTB 11.1H states clearly that 50% of at least over 12 million contract should be paid after the completion of the biometric voter registration process. 25% should be paid after exhibition. That is, you display the name, I check my name, my name correct, and then balance 25% should be paid after the election process, meaning that there will be times to evaluate the entire process of lifetime over a period of time. That is, it runs to the closure. Unfortunately, like East International, that the senator was unable to give us a company who is outsourcing, or who East International outsourced to, so to Lexton is telling us today through the National Elections Commission that they do not have the financing capacity that they promised according to the bid tender. And so the government of Liberia should be looking into that direction. What comes to mind, just to learn, two things. Either some of the kickbacks that we have been talking about, or that the international partners through the Treasury Department have sanctioned other people for, is what is about to take place by government awarding these contracts to friends, colleagues, and so they just wanted to win the bid. Now they are saying that they don't have money, so the government will have the responsibility to pay the money, meaning that that institution will be at the wings and caprice of the government, and the government could do with it what it wants to do with it without other and the participating political parties' full involvement as a matter of breaching the bidding process that led to the contract. That is quite worrisome to me.
This is what you guys do. Politicians are very good of creating their own missile or political deflectors and throw it into the oceans. The question that I ask, Jonathan on purpose deliberately decided to take a different route, but which of course you are at liberty to do that. Let me see what Sese going to form an alliance with you here this evening. Sese, good evening. Welcome. Yes, the election commissions, they get their part to play it. They need to come forward. They need to have all of this information, everything in place. But it's also ordinary voters also are also involved, concerned with these major actors. 236 days, actually, for me, somebody could say, oh, we still have a lot of time. But by the time, it's nothing. I'm wondering whether we are having the alternative to say yes, or are we just come to the conclusions this is what's going to happen. Your guy, Tiawan Gonglo as well, how long should we have an idea when these people are going to have their number 2%, so that we'll see, so that we have enough room of time, whether it will be 3 or 4 candidates, then we'll be able to kind of like streamline and do that process of elimination to say, okay, based on this information, because then we assume they're going to be coming forth with the information needed as to how they're going to lead that country. It's not happening. Only the CDC, now we know Chief Dr. Joa Howard Taylor is still on the ticket. We yet to know anything about that Ambassador Boyka, Mr. Cummings, and Tiawan Konglo, and perhaps, I don't know, maybe any other person, Mandela Kopo, and the rest of the people. Is it that important, or we should just focus on the election commission?
I think, Mr. So, you have two New York kind of cockroach in your talking point. You know those New York cockroaches, they have to die. You stomp on it, you can tear the gut out, and they have only one leg or be dragging yourself going. And those two talking points you have that are very hard to die. The first one is the idea that all oppositions are lumped in one basket of deplorable, and when you get ready, just talk about opposition like one group of people, forgetting that there are so many different political parties with different political ideologies. And then the next piece is just think about people selecting their running mate. Look, in these United States that we like to pattern our democracy after, it was what, 3 months to election when Joe Biden made his choice. 230 days in elections in politics is a lifetime. I'm sure you will have enough time.
Is that a conversation you guys have?
It's a conversation, because the problem here is nobody wants to be in a hurry to make a choice. Number one. Number two, it's not like the politicians, especially my guy, is not doing anything simply because he has not announced a running mate. He's having conversations. He's thinking we can walk and chew gum at the same time. He's having these conversations about who's going to be the political running mate, going through all of the political calculuses, but at the same time engaging the Liberian people about what is at stake, what they stand to lose or gain based on how they cast their vote. And I think we can do both at the same time. But I think it would be premature for any one political party. And you try to compare the opposition to the CDC. Well, the CDC is a government in power. Right, so they already had a VP, right? And if we really want to be fair, the CDC had a convention at midnight. So we there is a lot of things going on here. But I really don't want to agree with you with the premise you're laying that because we have 230 or more days and opposition political parties have not yet announced their running mate, so there's a reason for people to be worried or that the sky is falling. The sky is not falling. Most times people cast their lot based on the top of the ticket. And so a lot of these things we hope will be critical decisions. And I'm hoping all of the political parties and major actors are given very thoughtful process to this, because the person you choose to be the VP is the next in line of succession to the presidency. So that is something that people have to take very seriously. So I really don't think the earth is falling, the skies are falling yet.
Before I switch gear to Mali, in the interim, meanwhile, should they be coming forth to know what they represent, what we need, what is on their belt, their agenda for the country? Is that being very explicit, you think? Or is it visible? That we can discuss it while we are waiting. And I agree with you. I agree with you. I would say we are smart America, but I'm not sure whether we are even doing the things of America. And so sometimes, so making this sort of comparisons give a good it validate people argument, because we've been going down that route. So to kind of undo it overnight, it's a good, and that's what I like about you. You try to kind of like, you're not sending to New York. I'm not a New Yorker. I'm a New Englander.
I didn't want to say Rhode Island because I got to visit you one day. And so I want to be careful with which state I'm using the analogy of.
This guy, he intend not to start causing trouble on this network. Okay, let's bring in Madam Koto Jalabalayan, also based in New Jersey, a contributor of the Liberia Public Radio. Okay, Koto, good evening, welcome. Mali, maybe let's see, probably two of us will form a line. I don't think Koto is going to join us. Sissy already there, and I have no doubt that Jennifer going to follow suit already. Sissy now is telling us we shouldn't worry. 2 months, 3 months, the guys can have their political pick. Nothing wrong with that. Is that a fair deal? Is it providing us alternative as because it's not just only about the vice president. Remember, the vice president is also qualified. The vice president, the vice president is also there when the president is incapacitated. We want to have a vice president. I don't agree with this concept with these people saying a ceremonial. No. If you're ceremonial, then let's dress you like a Santa Claus and put you in some sort of a park so that people will go see you. No, we don't want to have a vice president at that.
Yeah, thank you, the director. I would like to differ extensively with Sissy analysis.
Yes, I got a partner here. I think the night going to be a good one, but let's check our belt.
Because I'm partly leaning to you and Jonathan, because in politics, there are two cardinal issues. Preparation is very vital in politics. Time is of essence. I say time is of essence because the incumbent have already exhausted a whole lot of stuff. They have a lot of things in their reserve. They are exposed to so many institutions. They have so many resources that they are exposed to and they can use at their advantage. But the question now is, there are other politicians, good presidential material in the corridor. That's where I'm coming from right now. What have been their preparation? Because currently they are between two populations right now. They are between the diaspora population and the homeboys population. So my question now is 236 days. Have they been able to make a good preparation to visit the 16 county? Because our politics is such that the more you visit me, the more I keep you in my memory system. The more you do for me, the more I remember you. This is the type of politics we have in Liberia. You see? So if a politician come into the diaspora and have a town hall meeting where they are meeting people who are not suffering for food, they are meeting people whose cars are parking in the parking lot and getting ready to go home at any time. They are meeting people who have some money in their bank account. That's a different population that you're dealing with. When you get back home and you want to go from county to county, that's a different arrangement. So to summarize, 236 days. By this time, we should have a clue who could be in the lead. We should have a clue which of the new political party in our mind is prepared to shake the entire political scenario in Liberia. But as of now, I give credit to all of them, but I don't see adequate preparation, especially for some of the political parties just joining the corridor. I don't see the preparation. Yes. So I may want to give credit to the CDC for now. But again, if I get them credit, yes, they're moving to the various counties. And actually, according to unconfirmed sources, they're already touching base at home. To what extent they are touching base, I don't know. But I don't see this thing coming from some of the strong political front runner like the UP, the Liberty Party, and even the ANC. Everybody just comfortable now, waiting for election day.
Get ready for these guys tonight. I'm telling you.
So this is my worry, and I hope to rather see some what I call tangible preparation.
All right, let me hold your peace.
Mr. Jones, answer a own different question. Make a own question. Answer.
Yeah. So hold on. I told you. I think I need to relocate Sissy from because he and Jennifer probably exchanging text messages right now. I need to relocate.
So.
No. Okay. So let me just bring in Koto. But to fair, this is all things considered. So perhaps there are some other things that you are targeting. That's my own talking point. More to come. So let me bring in Koto. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening to all. Good evening to the people of Liberia. And I want to say thanks to all of you, Mr. Soul, Mr. Jones. Hey, Darakai, my name for long, man. I know the haircut where you are.
Yeah.
Say what's up? Good to see you guys, man. Been a while.
Haircut, erasing your line. Okay.
And those that we cannot talk to now, those that will come to listen to all, we say hi, and we are here to discuss the issue of Liberia. I'm glad to be part of this discussion.
Okay. I started out opening a warm here. Sissy temporarily declared me as a New Yorker. But then later he said, okay, no, you are not, which is okay. I want to be in the Empire State. What is on your plate? What are you considering? I started with this 236 days to the presidential and legislative elections in Liberia. And and some of the teams. Some of those expressing their interest, their team is still incomplete. I want to know. I have interest in knowing who is the vice president for Ambassador Boyka, Ellis Kuman, Tiawan Gonglo, Mandela Cooper, and those who have come publicly to say they want to contest. So that we want to know, because one of the fear, I don't want to have a scenario where somebody will say, I was just put on the side. I was just kept away. I was placed somewhere, So is that important, or there are other important things that we need to focus on? Sister made a point here, which of course is logical, is arguable. In the U.S. here, we see someone 3 months, whatever month, and then the candidate picks is of a running mate. Should we kind of imitate that, since we are small America? We claim to be.
Well, thank you, Mr. So. The thing is, the scenario in Liberia cannot be compared to the scenario in America. We know that they have two political parties, major political parties, and maybe once in a while you see independent candidates. Unlike ours, we have so many political parties. And what we see here right now that is going on, there is a possibility that in the midst of other political parties, one of them or two could give up to say, let's, collaborate and have this done. So right now, this is the card that is being played.
I think.
Yeah, so it's not that really they don't have a broadcast ready today. He will not have a vast standard barrier, but taking everything into consideration, that if all of these parties come together and say, okay, we unite, then there is a possibility that, somebody within the parties might, give in to say, I go as second runner. So those are the things right now playing in the opposition. So we can't compare the scenario. But again, the most important thing is we have the presidential candidates that we believe in them, we trust them that they can lead. So far, all of the candidates that have been seen showing face in the oppositions are somehow, qualified. For now that I have been seen, there isn't one that I can just talk down on to say, oh, this person, oh, no, man. I say it's so competitive. So this is the point. It is that, when you have like too good to throw away, it makes you to kind of be hard to just drop it. Like too juicy to throw away and too bitter that you can say the Ponkepan God, right? So this is the state that the opposition is in. And I don't want to say they are not doing their best, but again, it's like for my candidate I'm supporting, he have had an experience and he doesn't want to come, and say, okay, there's a decision I take it, and people say you should have known better. So when they tell you should have known better, it means that you somehow degraded. So I think this is the point he is, and he can't just rush to make such a decision, because there may be a chance that other people will give in. So that's where we are. So I don't want you to say this time. It can be done. The most important thing is we have our leader, and that's the leader who's going to be making decision. Any person that coming around will be assisting this leader. That's how it is considered. Yes.
Okay. Senator, good morning. Welcome. We really appreciate you being awake every day when we are here early morning. Let me bring Janitor into this phrase here. Koto inserted something very...
You just said senator. We don't know who that senator is.
Oh, no, Senator Joseph. He always hang out with us here. So I just want to acknowledge that. So, Janitor, let me bring you into this. Koto brought something, perhaps, and that is a very logical point, knowing what is happening within the Bellwether, that probably, potentially, there is a conversation ongoing. We've been hearing that a lot here. But you will be the other one here. Your party, they have what they call the CPP. There is a hook already created. And it's good to have these conversations. Political conversations, they are tense conversations. They don't just come to an overnight resolution. That I know. Even in our own community organizations, think about it before you talk about national conversation. I billeted with her yesterday and the information coming from front page. But the CPP made a definitive position that they have decided who is their candidate. And so any other person coming now, I don't know what they are willing to do to rewrite the history. Do you see this as a sticky point here to even be the Gonglo, the Mandela Cooper, the ambassador to Boyka? You are close with the inner cycle. If any possibility of conversation ongoing, are they willing to undo that sort of what we almost call Decree 88A? And then you come to us, you come now, we already get our own. Join us. Is that a sticky issue now that is really taking place behind the scene that we don't know about, you think?
Firstly, thank you for the question. Now that I've dealt with the issue of the risks, that will answer the question that you have asked. If it is not put in place better, which is the electoral process, if there are hiccups, it will serve as a challenge. Let me answer the question now about the collaborating political party front or the opposition community. But I want to re-emphasize that in as much as we are zealous for running mates, in as much as we are zealous for opposition amalgamating forces and competing through a fair process, we also need to be very concerned about the National Elections Commission that should regulate the electoral process and the time frame given it. Having said that, I will first want to know, and I think it is on me because I would have done the proper research about it, as to whether political party can go into merger collaboration within the time period given the National Elections Commission and the regulations. And if that is within the ambit of the opposition community, then I think for political engagement, I think there have been no door closed. I would want to believe that. I want to believe that there can be trade-off. I remember, that's why I said I don't know the time frame, but I remember 3 parties came together before called the Unity Party. 2 other political parties used, their names were not utilized in the process. That is Liberia Unification Party and Liberia Action Party, and Stood Unity Party because it was the ruling party. It was an easy brain at the time. So if, for example, CPP says that they have reached a finality, CPP could be speaking from the perspective that more Liberian welcome CPP during the 2020 or prior to the 2020 is a new brand. And if all the folks that left can consolidate their efforts back, living up to the terms and agreement, it means that CPP will also live on what would now be traded would be the presidential bid. And I don't think the CPP made of Liberty Party, ANC, will reject, for example, again, I say, for example, if Ambassador Boyka was to yield to Mr. Cummings to be the standard bearer of the CPP. So to say you have been close, it will not be making. It will not be reaching a finality. Like I said before, until we have the nomination process up or the deadline June for nomination, presidential and running mate, there is nothing that is absolutely close. But just to learn, because I know the conversation goes around, I also like to push back on Mr. Marley's section about people are taking advantage of our illiterate people. Ordinary illiterates will make the decision. Of course, we know ordinary illiterate. I mean, drawing a dichotomy between diaspora, Liberia, and homeball, as the term is, and people who come to the diaspora to have town hall meeting, they meet people who cast a park. Hey, this is what many of us are not following. Those who cast a park, that remittances are not park. that remittances are not packed, that tax are getting heaped up every day. The calls and demands for Liberians, family members, friends back home is huge. This is where it brings us to the position of why this company called Letstone is unable to finance, because it will be denying of a job creation. It will not give a fair climate. This is why East International that are outsourced to another company, it will be giving a job creation problem that people are demonstrating in Buchanan. So until we can correct this thing, it is under the CDC-led government. It is not under a different government. So until they do the right thing, the trend of the election, despite the pluralism of opposition, it will not give CDC a needle hole of winning the election just by the name called CDC. And finally, let me rest on this, that the CDC as a political party, the burden is on the party because it has performed to 38.4% before. This party has won 40 out of 15 counties, and I don't know whether the party can win 50 out of 15 counties. So it's in a declining slope. That's the realistic thing. And any opposition or amalgamate force can definitely, unseat the CDC democratically.
Sissy, a little bit, Dulake just caught it up by firing at Mally Jones.
I think the little piece that Dulake left, I don't want to put more fire on this. I will leave it alone. But when my sister Koto was speaking, and I did something real quick that I have the luxury of doing here, that people in Liberia or to our system, we don't have the luxury of doing, right? I went on my Secretary of State website because I think you misexplained what I said, and so Koto came and differed. My point was that 236 days is a lot of days. It's a political, it's a long term in politics. So if we want to be like the U.S. that we always say, in America, Joe Biden gave us his running mate in 90 days. And so we shouldn't be in a hurry. But, my sister said, well, there are two major political parties and sometimes one independent. So, for example, in my state, in Minnesota, there were 10 people on the ballot, 10, including Kanye West. So you had the Republican, the Democrat, the Independence Alliance, the Green Party, the Socialism and Liberal Party, the Socialist Worker Party, the Libertarian Party, and 2 independents on the ballot. So we shouldn't be sending this message home to Liberian people that most times it's just only 2 people. There are very few states that you even see only 3 people on the ballot. They're usually 4, 5, 6 presidential candidates. Now, do we say, the likes of, vote is on the ballot? Yeah. Yeah. Do they have more than 10 people to vote for them? Absolutely not. But they're still on the ballot, right? So let's be very frank and fair about that when we give out this information. And the reason I said that I have the luxury of doing that is because I went on NEC website, right? And this cannot be an opposition or ruling establishment thing. When you go to NEC website right now and you try to find any data, which of course any serious political entity will want to find data, because that's how you determine, where you put the money, what districts are. Right now on NEC website, they still have only 2020 electoral district stuff out there for 2020. And you can't blame NEC because the census that was supposed to help them redraw these lines, I don't even know if they're done with them or not, right? The next thing, you go to NEC website, there are a lot of things that are not even clickable. You want data from the last presidential election to determine which polling station have a lot of action so that you send your candidates there, because that's where a lot of people vote. You don't have that on the NEC website. So I think opposition and ruling parties suffers from the lack of this information. And I think they all should be coming together to try to find a way to help the NEC to have these data out there. Because I've run elections before in the US. And what helped me was to go back to previous elections to pull the data and see what were my winning numbers. What were the numbers the other candidates won with in previous elections? So I determined how many people I need to get out to the pool. Which precincts have a lot of people turning out, so that I spent a lot of my door knocking time in that area. You don't have that on NEC website right now. And so for me, that is a serious concern. It should be a concern to the CDC. It should be a concern to all ruling establishments. And the last but not the least thing to say here is that, look, if you're not following actions in Liberia, it's really easy to assume that people are not doing anything. There are a lot of political parties and politicians that are doing a lot of stuff. A lot. They're reaching out to our people. They're talking to our people. But Liberia is not different than what we do in America. There are people here in these United States that vote against their interest. They don't even understand what their interests are. I remember when I first moved to Minnesota, there was this guy, Governor Tim Pawlenty. He was running for re-election. And he was promising to cut CHIP benefit, the children insurance stuff. He was promising to cut welfare. And we had a lot of our people who were receiving CHIP benefit and that were receiving food stamp were advocating for this guy because they didn't understand they were voting against their own interests. It is the same thing. You got people who live in trailer parks in America, people who live below the poverty line that were voting for people who said are going to take away Obamacare. Right, that was going to take away all of the social safety network. So we shouldn't try to sit here and make it look like it is only the Liberian population that is gullible to politicians. Even in these United States, there are people who are gullible to politicians. It is our responsibility who sit on this platform as talking heads to do our research so that we inform our people. Because if we say the politicians, if I'm a politician, I'm not going to say all of the bad things that comes my way. It is your work as media folks that sit on here to do the research and bring them out. So to sit here and assume that the politicians have to be want to tell you that they're ahead, the politicians have to be the one to tell you, oh, based on my data, here's where I'm going. I think that's foolhardy. It is upon us, unless we're being lazy, to do the research and find out what problems are and to find out the holes in these speeches and these platforms that the politicians bring out. That should be our responsibility. We should not outsource that to anybody else.
Yeah, before I go to the next person here, with respect to data to hold NEC accountable, yet NET will put out information from previous electoral process and the numbers, the populations, and all of that. But equally fair to mention, most of these political parties, they participated and they were also represented. Do they have anything they can dwell on to say this is where we fell during the last time around and we can catch up?
Absolutely not. That's why I don't like usually when we try to shift blame. There are some things that somebody just own 100% blame for. On the issue of electoral data, parties can be able to reach out and say, yeah, we have internal data. But you know how you validate your internal data? You validate it against the data that your electoral organization has up, because that is what you use to validate whatever data you got. So if you're just collecting data and you have nowhere to go and check it, then what is the essence of collecting that? Yes, they participated, but to what extent now that can they use that data? Because when they were there, they were collecting data on who's winning, right? And to be fair to them, if I was a politician, that's what I collect. When I want to run for office, I ran the first time. When I decide to run the next time, I'm not going to go back and look at what my data was for last time. I'm going to go to the Secretary of State website to see what their data was and how it got disaggregated. I don't have the ability to disaggregate it. That's why you pay people to work for National Election Commission to do their work. So even if you're not a politician, I'm not talking here on this platform. If I need that data, who should I go to right now? Should I call Unity Party and ANC and everybody who participated? So Tiawan Gonglo did not participate last time. How does he get that data?
Okay. Malik, I'm going to bring you. I got to know that he did first. Let me just bring you in here. Do you want to respond to Jeniton, or do you have a point to argue on that?
Yeah. I want to take my brother Jonathan in a very different direction. When I talk about our brothers coming to the United States, they are meeting a population that they don't have to worry about whether they have food to eat. I'm talking about messaging. It's the messaging aspect I'm talking about. From my own assessment, when aspiring come to the United States, they come for three things: awareness, fundraising, and asking one or two people to connect their people back home and resell their political philosophy to them. I stand to be corrected, but these are the three things I have come to realize. Back home, the political material, they are not creating awareness. They are selling themselves to the people. Because what I noticed in Liberia is that we have what we call...
So what is the message in selling themselves?
What the message in selling themselves is from two fronts. One, you have to visit them, like what the CDC does. Visit them, sit with them, give them the feeling like, okay, a government is on the ground. These are some of the small little strategies the CDC is doing on the ground. And I have not seen other political parties doing this thing. And this takes us to the corridor of preparation. My brother sister just said most political parties are preparing, they are doing a whole lot of stuff fine. In Liberia, I noticed even the print media, I don't see much there, because this is where I'll have to go and find out something. The broadcast media, I'm not seeing much there. The television, let alone the social media, right? So these are the areas I go to do my own assessment. Once in a while, I see press releases coming from the opposition camp. But back to the issue of the 236 days. Frankly speaking, I'm disappointed on this platform tonight that up to this time, party that I think should be in waiting to take over the executive mansion have not been able to come forth to even tell me who are their political their political vice standard bearers. I have not even seen that. Now the argument here is that we'll get more time. 236 days in the United States, there are a whole lot being done because they have so much to their advantage. But 236 days in Liberia, that's no time for someone who's supposed to go from village to village, do door and window knocking, sitting with the people on the farm. Everybody is concentrating in Monrovia. And Monrovia cannot put you in the executive mansion. Monrovia can only add to putting you in the executive mansion. So when I talk about our brothers coming to the United States, I'm talking about the messaging. They come to look for money. They come to create awareness. In Liberia, when I go to Lofa County, I'm not going to create awareness. I'm going to sell myself. I'm going to tell these people, look, I'm the best person. You have to vote for me. Because there, people are not concerned about platform. People are concerned about what you get to, what you will make available. In the United States, I can go to a town hall and hold Tiawolo Gongo to his feet and say, Tiawolo, can you tell me, I have not heard something about the TRC in all your deliberation. And this is one issue when you talk about bringing the TRC to punish the past, then probably you may get my vote. So I might be able to hold him to his feet to tell him what is in your platform. What do you have to share? In Liberia, no one has time for platform. It's what you tell the people. It's what they believe in. But the main important thing here is this, our director and final panelists. The more you interact with the people, the more they remember you. That's the type of politics we have down there, you see. And we also have the popular politics. The more you mingle with the people, the more the people know you. So 236 days is overdue for some politician now. Because to determine you capturing the executive mansion should be determined by the outcome of your preparation, by the outcome of your awareness, by the outcome of how many countries have you visited, you see. So this is where I'm coming from. 236 days is late. People merging now, they're not only merging because they want to unseat Georgia, they are merging, as the saying goes, for their own interest right now. You see, I don't want to branch to my man Tiawolo Gongo, who just joining the host of list.
But start spoiling my presidential candidate name.
No.
Tiawolo Gonglo.
Okay, Tiawolo Gongolo. He just coming in. I'm worried about him when it comes to preparation. I worry a lot about him.
You should be the one to be worried about him. Don't you?
No. I'm worried about him because the outcome of the result probably people will start crying foul. And they cry foul because the preparation, I don't see it. The awareness, I'm not saying it. Most of us said, now you're not going to vote for you in Liberia. It's the people there. So preparation
most of all,
is of essence. Thank
we
you.
got most of all.
Oh, like me now, I can be here and vote.
It doesn't apply to he said most. It could be in
I said
any
most
number.
of us are in a most.
All right, let me go
Maybe
to.
you are
I
excluded.
know.
He called my political candidate name though, so I hope you will give me a chance to push back.
You see these people they have special orientation.
Because you know, it's that low, whatever, you know, Sakamo juice. But let me say something.
Yeah.
I think my brother, Mr. Jones, is intentionally blinding himself to the news report out there. You know, Bob Marley said there is abundance of water, but the fool is thirsty. Rod race, right? So you can have the well open. Some people will die of thirst laying right near the well. If you watch any media outlet recently, you see Tiawan Gongo has been interacting with the media, with print, and in going to villages. But as a matter of fact, was it a month ago, Mr. So, on this very show, we talked about how Tiawan was in. You show some video of Tiawan in the villages in Riverside. But I guess my brother, Mr. Jones, was blinded at that time. You know, we need to change the prescription. When we talk about Tiawan having been in Lofa County recently and in Bon County, Tiawan has toured over 150 villages in Grand Bassa and in Riverside. He went through almost 45 villages in Niba County. But I guess again, my brother has been blinded. So sometimes the side effect of the Sakimo juice is temporary blindness to reality. But let's be very fair here. My brother talked about that, you know, people go places and they try to sell themselves but not awareness. How can you sell yourself without awareness? What do you say if people are not aware of you? I think that is a divergence of logic. Here is the last piece I'm going to say, and then I'll let this be. In politics, you speak to different people for different reasons and with different messaging. For some of us who have run campaign as a candidate, when I went to fundraisers, when I went for people to endorse me, I had a tete-a-tete, a one-on-one conversation with people. When I was out here in Minnesota door knocking, when I was out here doing stuff, I did not go to every door because it's impossible. I did ads on Facebook. I did ads in print media. I sent them out. I did mailing. And that's what politicians do. There is no politician that's going to go to every village in Lofa County. There hasn't been any politician in America that knock every door. So let's stop trying to make up these things because we think it should be, so we assume it's reality. That is not reality. But my brother, I can send you a lot of video. If you got your site back, I will be able to send you those videos to see the interaction of Tiawan Gongo in the villages.
Let me bring in Koto.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And I have a serious, reservation on what Mr. Jones said. He said the CDC is going to and meeting people. Who resources is the CDC using? I mean, are they doing their work or their campaign they're running with the job they're supposed to be doing for the Liberian people? Running campaign is different from running a country. So are you telling me that they are not running a country, they are only using the resources to run campaign? And that's what we're seeing right now. Because all along CDC got into power, they have always been in the defensive. They have always been in the campaign mood. They have always been in a campaign mood. That's why they have not succeeded in all of their campaign promises they have made. Because they live in the campaign promises and only running campaign because they want to maintain power for 24 years, as I say, 16 years. And that's what we're seeing there. Are you really doing what the people need? How many resources, how many educational activities are being involved? You ask them, they will only tell you they pay wire fee. Is that the only thing? What happened to primary education before they get to WIAC? So those are issues that are pending. And we say CDC is present. Of course, CDC government has to be present because they are in power right now. And also, I wanted to make a comment on what Sister said that when I said about political parties. I didn't just mean that they were not political parties that were not there, but it is not in our case where they collaborate or cooperate like we have in Liberia. That's what I was saying. Not that they do not exist, but where they come together and collaborate, to find a marshal and thing, we don't see it here. Like we see, they normally don't in Liberia, and that's what I was actually saying. Maybe you understood it differently, but you could be right. Once I didn't specify it, you will understand it the way you understood it. So you're right for understanding it the way you understood it. But I want to tell Mr. Jones that that's not campaign move. As far as we're concerned, that's what they're supposed to be doing for the Liberian people. And even do more for the Liberian people. It's not because you empower, you use the people resources and act like you running campaign for them. And that's why we see every night and you see President Project. Money that is allotted to undertake projects for the Liberian people, you see we are project on it. When last Ria came in Liberia and and built electricity? When did Ria come to Liberia and build, even aware that he put his name on? That now he's putting his name on these things. I see people talking about the what they call it, the first lady is being a compound for young girls. When last was they ever had a school that they had Liberian girls going to these schools? That we say today they were doing it and now they're doing more. So those are the things we'll be running campaign on. It's not what they're doing now. That's the resources. That's what they're supposed to do. So, Mr. Mali, I want you to take that out of your mind that that's not campaign. That's our money. It's like taking my money and telling me, like my husband would take my money and go buy me my blouse and say, I giving you. So that's my money you're using. That's not gift. That's what we will consider it. It's not their money. So I want to put that point clear with you, Mr. Jones. So stop it. Stop telling the Liberian people. There is no time now that the Liberian people are stupid enough to be thinking that that's money that they give it to them free. Josh Weah is a footballer. He came from the background of football. What happened to our football team today? We do not even have a 15 Liberian football team. They cannot even be qualified for Manarewa before even be qualified for African states.
Football, man. They may not do serious thing of football will do.
No, I just telling you that's why he good at. No, I'm telling you that his era. So if he cannot even function in his era, then why go to other areas that he's not knowledgeable about? Right now, go to Manarewa. Manarewa is that. Then leave Manarewa and go to West Africa. Then leave West Africa, go to Africa before you can go over Europe. What impact on a Liberia, the footballer president? Our football fee we are suspended not to play games with other countries. On our football leader. So because if I get in Liberia and think because I said most of the time at the time I was running my campaign there, my concentration was on the welfare, the health and welfare of people. So when I came here, I decided to use my background in that area to improve on it, that I can better off my people in Liberia. So when I go to Liberia, I ain't going to tell somebody, oh, I went to America, I came back, but I even able to tell them, say you can take malaria, you can take Tylenol to be killed.
So blood pressure.
You can take this medicine to be killed. So when I go there, I should be able to be able to even turn to them medically. But you footballer, then everything about football is there in Liberia. So what can we get out of you? Nothing.
Okay. I think I created this. I think I created
Mr.
this.
Director,
attitude will be running our campaign on Mr. Mari now because
okay. So after that, after the response,
can I just make one interjection? Can I just make one interjection?
You letting this man talking. You get Mr. Mali long time to explain.
I'm not talking no more for my blood pressure go up. I'm taking advice from online.
Because I got more to list here.
Okay.
Yes, I get more to list here. Under this border president, our children have been killed. That today there is no investigation. We cannot get all of these things. No report. Okay? Under the football president. Okay? Our resources are supposed to be used to get food for our people. They are crying for food every now and then. Under the football government. Gasoline we go under the football government. People are dying here. Own people, the auditors under his government. 4 died that today we cannot get any outcome. So those are the things we're going to be running our campaigns on. It's not because we are taking our own money and giving it to the people. That's their own money. It's not good he's doing for them. When last did the football team that he ever brought in Liberia, did he carry that football team forward? Did they partake in any international or even local playing team that we have? Did he ever carry the other Liberia before talking about international level? So those are the things we're going to be running our campaign on. Let me rest a little bit because I'm getting hyper right now. Thank
But
you.
Mr.
My
Director,
time will give back to you again.
can I make
Yeah,
an
no,
interjection?
Yeah, hold on one second. You done with your point?
Now I'm done, yeah, but let me rest a little bit.
Oh.
But you bring get small water to drink.
But who you strong?
Nyangbe.
Yeah, Mr. Director, I just wanted to make
But
I
Mr.
just
Male,
wanted to make one interjection
Mr.
here.
Male, I just wanted to come in so that I get closer up for your end.
No, before you come in, let me just make one interjection to my
You're
to
welcome
what my
back,
sister
you.
just said. No. I just want to be very sincere and factual here. The incumbent have got a lot of advantages. They vandalize our resources and vandalize taxpayer money to do a whole lot of things.
And we are aware.
And this is the challenge to the political party on the ground. What have they done about that? Nothing. So it is a normal practice in Africa where the incumbent abuse the people finances. We are aware of that. And that is the fight. But those facts are challenges to political parties in Liberia. So what are you doing about that? That is just a fight. It's the people money. What are you doing about that? These are some of the issues I expect the politician to even be taking we are to court. Everybody is politically complacent. When George Weah got his inauguration, I think less than 2 or 3 weeks, he demolished his house. He raised it up in less than, I think, 3 weeks. No politician took this man to try to demarcate his own personal funds from the funds of that of the government. So the challenge is with the politician. The challenge is with George Weah.
What specifically wanted them to do, for example?
Take George Weah to court. What kind of money are you using to go demolish your house to break? Take him to court. I don't see these things happening.
It's illegal. You can take the president to court.
Pardon me?
It's illegal. You can take the president to court.
Yeah, this is where now your political party you bear a case.
Thank you. I agree with you there. But thanks for the quick turnaround. And it is helpful to our nation. I know when I listened to you initially, I heard CDC got the message. CDC is engaging. Yes. Opposition in diaspora. And people in Liberia don't listen to message. They just there to receive from you. I think it debase and belittle our people.
No, I'm saying the truth. That's the truth.
I'm coming. That's your truth.
Yeah, let him carry on with his point, and I think we can to get to.
What I know out of ran presidential campaign is that the reason why we recruit influencers in counties and elders around the country is because we want to have conversation with the elders and these influencers to tell us about specific areas in the area historically, to inform the standard bearer. That by in itself is a messaging. We establish friendship. They tell us that the place our sister XYZ, yes, these are things that have been hiccups for us. Then the presidential candidate inculcate that part in a dream. So Madam Sadi, for example, did not know everything around Liberia. It was through campaign and messaging that people got that information. So when you say our people are only there to receive and they don't buy into the information, then it is fundamentally flawed. What I'm saying is that the different scenario of messaging, they are different. In America, it's different. The way we sit down with our people by the fire and explain to our elders is completely different. So now that you have agreed that government has a responsibility to execute on behalf of a people, and political party does not have that responsibility except to hold the government accountable, let me say it clearly. The CDC as a political party can only campaign on the achievements of the government. CDC as a political party had never taken any project for the last 12 years prior to coming to power. So to the opposition. What are the issues that the opposition should challenge the government on? Take, for example, Edwin Snow, who is member of the ruling party, is complaining about Western cluster that $5 million have not been allocated to those counties that should be receiving the money. That is a challenge to the CDC government. If they don't do it and create jobs for the people will vote against the CDC government. The Nima County is complaining of 7.5 million that since 2018 up to now have now been delivered. If the government doesn't do it, the opposition will raise the consciousness and the Liberian people will take the decision of voting the government out. As we speak today, employees in Grand Bassa County and contractors, they are worried at the port. And so if people who are already on a job some kind of way worry, what happens to people who should be creating an environment for job now making it questionable? The road between Ganta to Saglebio to Grand Gire, the people have packed all the other equipment machine because they have completed the first phase of the road. The government are not paying them. So procurement process is a form of corruption that American Treasury Department spoke about. So all these things, we as opposition can only conscious task our people to make the rightful decision. And it is on the part of government to take up the responsibility to execute. Criminal Kosi, John Dessing, Blamo Dessing is complaining about illegal deduction at the court. Illegal deduction from payroll of magistrate, of bailiff, of court workers that Ministry of Finance illegally took from the pay. And he's demanded that it should be replaced before July 26. This is irresponsible, and anyone that comes should be able to condemn CDC government to provide an environment for our people. Other than that, we are under obligation to boot the government out democratically on these counts. It is not our making, and we are not demanding too much, or we are not asking too much of the government just to do that responsibility for the taxes that have been paid. So you, Mr. Mali, join us to tell the CDC government, number one, that it's unfit, that the CDC government is corrupt, it is made with ritualistic and unexplained death scenario, and they have made our country to be a drug barren country. And as long as you raise that alarm, our people back home will hear you, and then will take the appropriate action instead of you supporting and trying to make them to feel comfortable. Thank you.
Okay, man. Is this going to be a nightmare here? Okay, let's see here. Let's get a first caller here. Amos George, good evening and welcome. Let's go to the first caller here from the Constitution State.
Is that William again?
Good evening, my great host, Brother So, and the rest of the team. I see my good brother Cisse in studio there too. Thank you so much. I hear my brother Jonathan running around the place.
Can we know who's calling, please?
No, this is Wilson.
You guys, what are you guys don't know Cisse here that he will make you to get your cholesterol to be going up? Are you serious?
This is on my team. I know what this is an uncovered edition on my team. Forget it.
He's so good at firing. He's so okay. Go ahead, make your point, Wilton.
So I hear my brother Jonathan for being missing in action for so long, reappear and coming with this vigorous, fallacy. I think he lived in a world of I don't know, confusion. He's saying what the opposition is supposed to be.
Okay, caller, hold on after the other person. Yeah, go ahead, Ketra.
Has to be tapping on all the ills that you think about to inform the Liberian people to make the judgment. You will do it. The people have soundly come out to say we will vote for the president again, and you saying yes, that we're going to tell the people, and for someone like George who said they got the money, they are praying listed on that thing, brother. No, let me tell you something, you're the ANC people. You have reduced Mr. Kumi's 7% to 3%. So Mr. Kumi is irrelevant now when it comes to the Liberia election.
You lost 4 percentage point.
I said.
So is the one we are looking at, and unfortunately for him, it's not working too well for him because we have gotten overwhelming support from all over the country. The chiefs and elders and influentials of my brother talking about. Brother, don't you know work too much again? the people going to the common people on the ground. You see the common people coming out. And this is you got to face the reality. It's a dumb deal. All I'm trying to say here today is for you guys to start to accept that when you win the election, you guys should not come out and say it was fraud and whatever.
Okay, hold on. The result. Okay, hold on. Let me bring in the next caller, and then we're going to have a reaction from the panelists. 267 number 3278. Good evening. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, Mr. So this is Lucien Vernon calling from the Upper Darby area, Pennsylvania.
Welcome to the show. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So. Yeah, my question goes directly to the sister on the panelists. She referred to the president as a football player. This is my question to her. You know, Mr. So, that is the problem that we had in Liberia. We always look down on other people. And this is why I'm a young man. I always tell people, the education is important, but wisdom is something that's given by God. You can be educated.
Yes, so if you keep it on, let me answer him.
I'm saying that, let me just finish, Mr. So. I know she want to come interrupt me because
no, I said that you keep you on when you finish. I
understand it. But this is my point, Mr. So. The Liberia, for Liberia to excel, to move forward, the notion of just basing our ideologies on education and saying that maybe the elderly in the villages that doesn't have access to education, we look down on them. We mean well for Liberia. I think that's the same as the soul that. So that is just weird. We claim that he's not educated. His life is restricted to just soccer. But let me say this, Mr. Soul. My father didn't go to school. My mother didn't go to school. I'm in America. I'm working on my doctorate degree. So can I say because my mother didn't go to school, so I can work on the law degree, or I can work on the doctorate degree in America? No. I can go for whatever level I want to go in America. But the notion that people think that because, the man is just football player, so his life is restricted to just football, and because his life is restricted to football, so Liberia cannot move like go anywhere. Because today, even if George will leave presidency, for example, if Joseph Imabwaka come there, somebody will come after Joseph Imabwaka to say, oh no, he's being educated, he's been in politics for 40 years, but never did anything. They were criticizing. So why are we taking Liberia? I think, as a young person, I think what we need to do, Mr. Soul, is for us Liberians to be honest with ourselves and see that the young people of our country and Liberia itself to be frank and be able to pull hands around people. Let us criticize, but not be honest to ourselves so that Liberia can be better. Thank you so much.
Yeah, hold on, don't go. Let's have a little conversation here. I think this is something that I believe I give a lot of push. The name footballer. Do you see a sound condescending? Do you see sounds demeaning to the president, to the office of the president? How you process that? I mean, because most of the time I see, in politics, you always see people deploy sort of words to also make their case. But President Weah, on the other hand, has been effective in communicating with his base. This is what the people say you are because of me. Do you see that relating directly to you?
For me, yes, I would say that's related to me in a sense that, for example, like I said, my father was not educated, for example. So if I get, in an arena with somebody and maybe because of politics, and maybe that person's parents not educated, and I try to look at education, let me take you an example. And I try to look at education because I'm educated today, but I'm not thinking on the reflection of my father because my father was not educated. And because my opponents, maybe parent was not educated, and I try to use that against them because of politics. I think that alone is corruption. Today we talk about corruption in Liberia. Today people say George Weah is not educated, and we complain and say that, and all of that. But from 1822, we've been having educated people all the way to Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She's a Harvard graduate. But what happened when she became president? I was in Liberia during the time of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. People dropped out of school. Young people couldn't afford school fees. They go to this semester, the next semester, they couldn't go because of tuition fees. But education is central. My point is that the politics of our country should not just be, okay, the man is a football player, so his life is restricted to football player, or the woman, she's a marketeer, so her life is restricted to just do business. No, somebody can be a business and
was he a career footballer? Was he a career footballer?
Yeah,
Can I say?
Are you going to 2 weeks now? Hold on 1 second. What I want us to also understand, these people, they are our caller. We can agree and disagree with them, but we must allow them to also speak their mind as to how they see these comments, our talking point, and perhaps if there are things that we need to see differently. Maybe the communication is not going well. Okay, hold your peace. Don't go.
That's why I want to explain to him.
Yeah, hold your peace. Don't go.
I'll be right
here. Oh, but let me bring in Mikey here as well. This is all things considered. Mikey.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm okay. So let's hear from you. Are you going the footballer way or what?
I'm so happy to be on the show tonight. It's a long time. Hi to everybody over there. First of all, let me just tell my brother who's on the line right now. George Weah is a footballer, you know. So when somebody say George Weah is a footballer, that's not an insult. He has demonstrated it in the past, and he's demonstrating it right now. Every time, everywhere he goes, he do that. So don't be offended by that. You understand? And these are conversations we should be having. Like, people are quite to be angry when people describe the candidate in this kind of direction. What more can somebody say about George Weah? The whole wide world knows George Weah as a football icon. Now he's the president of Liberia. Being president of Liberia and also a football icon, how far has Lunsa gone? Nowhere. Zero. So let's get that straight, my brother. Don't be too mad. Don't get angry tonight on the show yet. You understand? Yeah. I know it's campaign time. It's going to be heated, and let's wait for that. You know, that's the main reason I called for tonight, because the way the guy was going to, the way the guy was, stretching on the issue when the lady raised that issue of football. You know, I said, what the guy getting mad at this for, my brother? You know, United States, calm down, bro. George Weah is a footballer. You know, nothing can change about that.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so that's it. Thank you. That's what I want to say tonight.
Oh boy. Okay. This is all things considered, right? Let's hear. I mean, this is the only program when it comes on the count. Amos George, I'm going to be bringing you a call to you. I don't know whether you still want to respond, but let's see this. 832 number 1441. Are you there?
Yeah. Hey, Mr. So, how you doing? And how you doing, panelists?
What's your name and where you calling from, please?
My name is Ambrose, and I'm calling from Kentucky.
Okay, Ambrose, thank you so much for joining us. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about, I know somebody already talked about it, but Mr. So, when people talk about the way is a football is condescending. They're not saying it in a good faith because he's a professional football player. They tend to degrade him, to limit him just to football. To be honest, of course, space is space. She can try to justify any other way, but it's condescending. I was certainly not saying it in a professional manner or trying to give him a good credit to say, oh yeah, but because they see that only football that he played and he did it well.
In your mind, they are disregarding the office of the presidency.
Yes, they're trying to degrade him and they condescend. She knows in her heart, she never mean it in a professional way or trying to give him credit. They were just condescending because they're trying to limit him. And this comes back to education. Some people say, some people are educated, like the previous gentleman.
He's educated.
One key fighter. We are the only president that have played football out of the streets.
Jonathan, hold on 1 second. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you have two gentlemen on your panel that always condescending on George Weah's degree. You say George Weah have a degree, but it's from Debra. His master's degree is from Debra, and he knows Debra is the online schooling. And everybody we are living in America.
So is it a lie?
I know.
So there are two things. Yeah, there are two things. I'm going to give you a chance here. There are two things. I don't know. Sometimes there are some things don't get easily trick on me. So the first thing is a file, and if it's a file, it's a accredited institution that anybody can go online because of different activities. You can go and get it. If it is not an accredited institution, then that's a different thing. But it's a accredited institution as far as you are concerned.
No, get
a man chance. Let a man finish.
Professor, one of your panelists, I think one of your panelists is a professor. You see, like, I did engineering. if you graduate from school, if you did engineering in America and you don't graduate from EBET, accredited school, your engineering that you do is just you really can't do anything because soon somebody pull your degree in your university, they know the program that you graduated from is not accredited.
Hey, my brother, they want to give me a headache, man.
The engineering that you did is just a substance. So
I'm kind of a little bit
what was that?
I was kind of a little bit confused here. So
okay.
I said
what I'm trying to say, Debra is accredited, but it's not the accreditation is not recognizable. That's what I'm trying to get at. You get a sub because that's what they do online.
Don't you saying that you don't you see yourself making a case for her by giving this accreditation? If you are alluding to that.
No, but I don't question his degree. I don't question Debra because when people say it, they're saying it in the condescending. That's why they always reference like I know I just can't pronounce the gentleman's name, but he's a professor and he will whenever he says that he said, yeah, I know that we have a master's degree from Debra. I listen to this show every night.
Right.
You know, I'm not.
But we want you to keep listening. You don't let people. These guys here, look, you should wear an elephant skin. You know,
listen, so
elephant skin jacket. Don't let them drive you, please. That's why you see.
No, Mr. Cole, nobody going to drive me. I love the show. I like the idea. I like for myself the different point of view. But you know, I'm about coming. But you know, I gotta be real and. I call you university. You come and need to come to the data. I donate them money to come. I support coming, but we gotta be real and be truthful when people condescending to people. You know, that's I'm saying.
So very quickly, so I get a quarter the benefit of that. The president, I we don't want to do it. The president among all the presidents in Liberia have been the president that not only won world best, but as a president. Has declared a street, a stadium where he played football there regularly. This fellow is telling us that when we say footballing president is demeaning to the president character.
Okay, that's what you just said. When people say Coca-Cola, what is you don't be condescending to No. When people say Coca-Cola, you don't be condescending to Mr. Kumi?
And now condescending. Coca-Cola in America is condescending.
The man asking you.
What people say he said Coca-Cola or the Coca-Cola man?
Understanding.
Oh Lord.
Mr. So, Mr. So, let me make clarity. Let them understand.
You started the whole football.
Yeah, I started the whole football thing. So let me explain to them that they did not understand what I said. That's why sometimes when people, and you know, we are so limited to the time that we don't have the time to elaborate deeper for people to understand. Okay? Joshua is a footballer. We saw when Doe had this passion for football. The passion he had for football came up with a product that we have today as Josh Weir. He made sure every effort he had to put for football to the point that he used to go female football teams and all they had in Liberia. That's how far Josh Weir, Samuel Kanyado, love for football went. But we see a person who have won all the awards in football today is a president. But we have not even won a chicken soup cup. Neither a tomato cup, you know, in our country, and we consider him that's his career. That where he could even focus more. That will say, okay, the man can do other things, but this one in his era, he has.
Fair to mention, those things happened before he became president. So does it still matter?
Sorry?
He became the world
popularity.
Best. So was that something that equipped to the presidency? Is that the talking argument?
Well, I believe that what led to his popularity, and people expected more from him that he become president. That today our country will have been on the map like he did for football, but we haven't even won a tomato cup before chicken, whatever cup we could win.
I don't know why we were
Mr. So, the professor, can the professor please speak to clarify something?
Because you been living Liberia for a long time. when people were playing soccer was it was not up to standard. People don't think when you are a soccer player, because back in the 70s, 60s or 80s, people, like you could so work at EFBC or you were working or you have a good job. Joe will pass up at his play or Diva will stop to your play or don't ever stop playing, you get a tip. So that
So Mr. So, real quick.
Okay. In 30 seconds, so I will get reaction from my guys. Go ahead.
So now the soccer, being a soccer star is like it's one of the easier ways to work or people can reach playing soccer. So it got a different meaning. But before, it was not something that flew how high we got. Your mom would not encourage you to go play soccer. So
yeah.
Yes,
well, now that we have him, people will think that they got something good on a football.
When they say George Weah, with due respect, he's the president of the country, but the name soccer, that his brand name though. I don't know why it gets on people's skin. Maybe the way the people how it's been processed, how it's been received. But say, well, yeah.
So I know the brother. I know he was referring to me, and usually when I talk about George Weah and his degree, it's to counter people who say George Weah is not educated. It's to point out that the man has a master's degree. But don't take it from me. First thing, when these scholars were talking, because I like to do my research, I just want to Google and put in George Weah. And about 87.4% of the first thing that came out was about soccer. But more besides, let's go to the eMansion website. I'm on the eMansion website right now, and I'm looking at the biography of the president. And under the subheading education, the first thing they talk about is in 2013, he earned a master's degree in public administration from Keller School of Graduate Management at DeVry University. So the main person that's on the eMansion website, then I'm a problem. And then the next thing, so the brother was talking about soccer. They have a subheading that says soccer career. Like right after education, the very next subheading under the president's bio is soccer career. After soccer career, they got job experience. You know what he got for job experience? He got playing for IE Invisible 11. He got accolades for IE. He got AS Monaco. He got Paris Saint-Germain. He got Coupe de France. He got AC Milan. He got FA Cup. That was the end of his job experience. Before you go down to Goodwill Ambassador. So the whole problem now, the man said listed that he's a football player that has job experience on the Executive Mansion website. Don't why you blaming people for calling the man the soccer player and saying the man graduated from DeVry. I get where the man graduated from. And I'm a problem if somebody thinks that it's not accredited. For me, when I say I don't talk about it with respect to accreditation, I try to take away the argument that George Weah is not educated. If you got a master's degree, you are in the top 10% of
if I can just come in 2 minutes, right?
Hold on 1 second. I gotta be going back to my guys. But there's a new caller here. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds each, and then we'll close on here and go back to my guys online here. But let me go to this number here, 763 number 77242. Are you there?
I'm here, Mr. Shaw. This is Elvis calling from Minnesota.
Elvis, welcome. Let's hear from you.
Yeah, quickly. I mean, in like brother Bo said that football will eat. We're not eating football, you know. And let me just make this point clear. In every country, you have what you call your golden generation. You see it with Belgium, with Brazil. When the last time Brazil won a World Cup? In a decade, you know. So the reality is, like we're golden generation. When we have people like Joe Weah, Kevin Simway, Prince Dane, Christopher Red, who are playing on BP teams. That was our golden generation. It's past. What Joe Weah will be doing, spending hundreds of millions of dollars on football when people die and get rest to eat. So that argument is mute, you know. And let's talk about education. The reality is, what do you get a master from Harvard? What do you get a master from Columbia or Oxford? You can't beat George Weah in the political field in Liberia. We've seen it. So when you're talking about people that get education, they just want to use that to one of him to think they're better than him because they got some degree in higher education, and in their mind, he doesn't have a legitimate degree. But that doesn't change the fact that people like him more. People will vote for him more. That's just it, plain blank. So I'll leave it at that. Another people come on.
Thank you.
We have got legitimate degree.
Okay, 1441, 30 seconds. Your closing statement before we'll let you go, please.
Yeah, and I like my brother. I see he need to say, and he just cracked me up. And It's really.
You spoiled the conversation by going to bring your info, right?
Yeah, I can't believe he did that, but I understand. When you're putting, yeah.
You can't
But
believe.
but thank you for the.
I love you, my brother. I love you so much.
You see, I told you the man, you be careful when they make him blow and boy, but you don't listen to me. Okay. I can't believe you did.
I hear, brother. So
okay, yeah, coming to you, Keto. 3278. Are you there?
Stay on here. I ain't even respond to Keto.
No, Keto here. 3278. Are you there? 30 seconds. Okay, airplane can blow home. Keto, you want to make a point, but just stay there. Let the guys go because.
So no. Let me tell you something. Because we are supporters, so we are not. People say it was a soccer player or something like that.
What happened to your phone?
The man using loose stand there way now.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was through soccer that this president became president. It was through soccer that put it on the international thing. Nobody is offended of saying Georgia is a soccer player or not a soccer, whatever. The problem here is when people want to use this man's skill, like drawing the pro. I tell you, it's wrong. Because the man has proven all of them wrong by coming in their own field, the political field, and whipping them. He whipped them to the extent where they even got no answer for it again. They can't do nothing about it. They're making for football to becoming a politician. A politician that we have to call so-called citizen politicians in Liberia that can never stay here when it comes to politics. So what do you want to say about him again? He's a football player, yes, we agree, but he has beaten you guys in your field, politics, and to the extent where the Liberian got no confidence in the Irish politician in Liberia, but they got confidence in the football player.
Thank you.
So that's a plus. Thank you so much.
Can we? I think clearly.
Mr. Director, can I come in?
Okay, hold on. I think your guys, your colleagues, they want to interact. So coming to your guy, let me take this last. You 3278. I was calling you. They didn't answer. Are you there?
Yeah, Mr. So, I'm right here.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. 30 seconds.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. So. Yeah, I just want to conclude on this. Like for example, Mr. So, we had a brother in New York that just ran for representative. He lied about everything: his education, his finance, everything, his family, his ancestors. He lied about everything. His name is George Santos. All right. These are the things that sometimes we follow in this country. Most of the time we talk about education. It is essential. It is important, Mr. So. I won't dispute that. But for 1847, we've been having educated people, Mr. So. We didn't have no park bill in our country. We didn't have no vocational school bill in the 15 counties of Liberia. George was not president. We didn't have no road going to River D. George was not president. We didn't have no hospital built in.
Mr. So, they're not fair.
George was not president, Mr. So. We had educated people.
Where they making from?
That's false information.
Today, our generation, we contemplating about building roads. We're talking about building hospitals. We talk about children taking wires to be able to perform in those areas. But because the foundation was not built, so our educated people, are the one that we're supposed to be looking forward to. But today, look at, they're all greedy. The other person said, I get my degree from Harvard, so I cannot work with somebody that get a degree from Pennsylvania University or something like that. So at the end of the day, it's all about them. The man that y'all say you need to go to school, he's a little build park that the children can play in. Little build home for the old people. And people criticizing. We agree. But like just what the brother said, Mr. Soul, you got your education wherever you get it from. The brother is there. He's a football player as your claim. And the people love him. They're claim to support him. So go there and campaign against him and be honest to the Liberian people, be honest to yourself. Not about your Google education in America, because we know how some of those education in America look like. We all here today. Thank you, Mr. Soul.
Thank you. I think that.
Mr. So, can I come in? I'll soon be leaving.
Yeah.
Mr. So, can I come in, please?
Hold on 1 second. Yeah, I'm coming. I said a good thing we take phone calls. This gives us a sense of the talking point, things that we need to do, things that we need to work on. and by allowing them to also air their own side of the story, which is also good. You say you want to leave now? You want to make a point?
Yeah, I just wanted to make
so I'll bring Amos George.
Yeah, one or two clarification. I'm a bit disappointed about my sister Koto issue of raising the issue of on George Weah. Not only George Weah, but any of the presidential candidates.
About what?
Yes. They said George Weah, he's a footballer, fine. His degree from some suspicious institution, fine. But here's what I'm driving at.
Why is that fine for the
degree? I never thought about George Weah degree.
I come in
now.
Yeah, okay.
Why should I be fine?
I come in, Mr. Sese. This is where, Mr. Sese, you need a gram arm and give me the chance.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. This is what I'm saying. I notice some of the political followers in Liberia are doing a great disservice to our presidential material in Liberia. We are focusing so much on irrelevant things that will not be translated to put food on the people's table in Liberia.
Such as what?
Such as George Weah is a footballer. That's a fact. Should we waste time on that? No. George Weah degree did not come from a credible institution. That is a fact. Should I waste time on that as a tangible politician who want to lead this country? My question is no. There are issues in Liberia we need to be addressing. Let us not focus on George Weah as a person. We should focus on the issue he has created. So this is where the disservice comes from. So if we're talking about, for instance, the first order of business for any political candidate is to protect the life of the people.
Thank you.
Has George Weah done that? No. Should we focus on that? Yes. Yes, we should focus on that and make an issue. But focusing on his degree, where he comes from, his background. And let me say, and finally, to conclude, Director, all George Weah deplorable conditions resonate with his base. Now, one thing I want you to understand today, all his deplorable conditions resonate with his base. Should the opposition exploit that to keep talking about it? No. We should look for the issue in there to talk about. I yield my time.
Okay. I think Amos George.
I want to make correction on what Mr. Jones said.
Yeah, you will talk. Let's bring Amos. You come in. Let me bring in Amos George. But anyway, it's better late than never. Amos George. Good evening. Your microphone. You gotta unmute your mic, please.
I thought you throw that phone away.
If your phone get you hot down, throw it away. Throw the whole phone away.
Jonathan to break, he laughing at you, man.
Yeah.
Look how man this.
I know what kind of phone they use.
I love them, Mr. Mali.
And the Coca-Cola phone, it can go up, it can go up, it come back down.
You're turning on there now. You're turning on there now. Mr. George, are you there? Okay, I think yeah, your phone is muted. Let me see. Oh, okay. The Coca-Cola boss. Okay. All right. Yeah, you say who you say you wanted to respond. What you wanted to
I wanted to respond to Mr. Jones.
Yes, madam.
Yes. And you are saying that we are not stressing on the issues.
No, I say you are.
I think you did not listen. You did not listen to me what I was saying. I said our issues that we will be running our campaigns on.
Thank you.
The depth of this. So if you say the sole importance of a government is security. So if you take you by your word, what happened to the 4 auditors that have died? What happened to the 3 boys that have died? What happened to Princess Copper that have died? Those are all security issues.
But these are the issues you need to be taking as a political party. Now wasting time on George Weah football. He's a footballer. That's immaterial.
I am telling you, he's a footballer president, and he has not done well for football.
We don't need that. Focus on the
Why
issue.
wouldn't you like then why you play football?
Focus on the issue.
You talk already. I waited for you.
Okay, madam. Go, okay. Sorry, go ahead.
Drop arms, Mr. Jones.
Yeah,
okay, I grasp arm.
if I said, let me tell you, if I tell you I'm a nurse, it cannot work as a nurse. Does that make me a nurse? Everything that you have learned, it cannot you product of what you have learned. That education is useless. That's what I mean. If he a footballer, he cannot win a tomato cup. Is he a footballer? That's the point I'm resting my issue on.
Okay.
The first issue, and good that you raised it. I didn't. You said security first, which I didn't even want to bring it up. But I was telling you those are the things we'll be running campaign on, and exactly that's why we will be running our campaign on. And you said that the man is running campaign right now on the handles that he giving, the support that he giving to these people is what he's going to be running campaign on. I agree, but what happened now that they're forcing people and giving them money to come out? If he's so popular, why are you still giving money people to come and run campaign for him?
Okay, let me bring in Amos. Let me bring in Amos.
Forget about giving money. Like you said, he's comfortable. He's so popular. He's everything. He shouldn't go against that giving money out for people to come and run campaign for him because he has all of the qualities. He's popular. He is footballer. Sit back. You get all you have led perfectly. Sit down. You will come and vote for you
Thank
again.
you so much. Okay, Amos, Mr. George, are you there now?
Thank you, madam.
Amos George.
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay, much better. You're back to life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know, but I know you've been listening extensively. Almost out of time already, but notwithstanding, I think there's something you capture from tonight's conversation. What is lacking here? What is the disconnect coming from?
No, what one of the things I capture is that you got people who want to diminish education when it comes to certain people, but then they say they want to have a cake and eat it. The other man who left here say he's doing his PhD. But then he go back to name, he said, all the people who have PhD, educated people, way back there, they didn't do nothing. But you're here working on your PhD. If we're not important to do nothing, why are you working on us? So, then they turn around to question other people's degrees. You in the same country, you go to school. But you want to question other people's degree in this country that are working. You see, you can't have a cake and eat it, but if you love George, champion his policy. That's the best thing we can do. If I support somebody, I will champion the policy. I'm not going to do it, but I just want to do it on that issue. That look, so many people come here, they say these things, and this is the narrative they have created in Liberia, trying to tell the common people that they hate George Weah because George Weah is not educated. This is a narrative they have created and continue to go down that line. Oh, they hate this man. They say he's not educated. That's a narrative they have created in Liberia. Somebody think, oh, the man they hate because he's not. But yeah, this man has a master's degree. How can you say someone with a master's degree and say the man is not educated? What's it say? All the thing you're talking here, the man did not even mention his senator for Maserati. He didn't even mention on the executive mansion website that he served as senator. He didn't even mention it. Maybe my eye jumped away.
Why would they do that?
I don't know. Maybe I think maybe my eye. Maybe it's so happy.
I'm finished reading my part. Don't put me in your trouble. I'm finished reading my only part.
Mr. George,
let me say this. Look,
it made my listener really feel terrible tonight. Why you did that? She said, why you decided to go that far?
But it's that research, Chief. It's that research.
Yeah, you go there. They made the career. They didn't mention the Senate. And he served as senator of Maserati County. That's the service to us. This man served as senator of Maserati County. But he didn't mention. Let me just say, all things considered. I just wanted to say this thing here today. And this is why we have to continue to push this thing in the country. The issue of corruption. Do you know that last week, the Mudigi was sworn in as citizen of Liberia?
Yes. Wabodiki.
Wabodiki was sworn in last
Husband,
as
Bush
citizen
Wabodiki.
of Liberia.
That's what
When
citizen.
the justice, when the Supreme Court
But I
said
thought the
that
man
the
already
justice,
citizen.
no, citizen,
So now the
the
court will
bar
be charging him.
hold on now, the bar rejected that he could not practice law in Liberia. So he went to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court said, no, the bar doesn't have the authority. But he referred, the Supreme Court referred the case to the Minister of Justice to investigate the allegation that led to the bar association refusing him.
I'm all the way on John Rest.
What happened? The Minister of Justice never, Musa Dean never came up with a report. Last week, Wabodiki was sworn as citizen of Liberia after lying that he was born in Liberia. He lied he went to the university, got benefited. He lied, got a UN job, worked in all those areas. Those are all crimes that he had committed. But because the proximity of Wabodiki to George Weah, this is the corruption I'm speaking of, is all things considered. Today, yes, the last week the man was sworn as citizen of Liberia. Honor George Weah. Honor George Weah, his friend. These are corruption we're talking about. Musa Dean, the Attorney General of Liberia. They sat down there and the man was sworn as citizen of Liberia. So these are some of the things we should be addressing. How George Weah is running the country, the policy, and his close proximity to criminals, people who come and claim Liberian nationality. And he gave these people good job. They gave them good job. And they honor his administration. They asked the justice minister to investigate the man. There was no report presented from Musa Dean. The only report was for the man to go swear as citizen of Liberia. These are the things we should be addressing to the Liberian people. What the job we are government is leading us to.
So quickly here before we go, I think having this sort of conversation is a healthy process for our country. It helps us to kind of like get into the minds. We are not people to evaluate or tell people who they are, but to understand what is happening on a daily basis. And with the kind of information Amos George is providing, I've never seen that. I don't know whether there's a video or whatever. I haven't seen that, and neither am I not seeing the information. But it speaks to the point of we need to be having serious conversations about our country, especially with all of the political leaders. Today is in the case of George Weah, when all of those ones that we are arguing, people you guys are arguing for, we don't know what will surface when they are even there tomorrow. So this speaks to the fact that we should muster the courage that even those that we support or those that people support, they might begin to ask them these sort of tough questions. When we see this sort of thing that is happening today, I can't believe, and I'm going to look with this information here, is almost like in the direction of this guy. Why would he do that? Why? Because that itself, that's just been been very much the service to the office of the president. The man himself as a senator, how many years?
3 years.
3 years. 3 years.
3.5 years. Says that you got a computer. Maybe says he can help my I can't see. Maybe I'm lying. Let me I go it.
Yeah, and that was in, if it is not mentioned, if it is not there, and just put that. So I don't know why. And that speaks to the value to people that are surrounding the people. Are they really helpful? Are they helpful to them?
There is actually one sentence on our politics where it's actually one line where he said in 2014 we are contested and won the Maserado senatorial county election. That was it. And then after that, November 2017, he won the presidential election. That is the end of that.
That's it.
It's just one sentence.
So there's no achievement shown for his senatorial.
Let's disrobe our political interest. Let's disrobe our political interest, ladies and gentlemen. With this here, it tells us we got a lot to do as well. Tomorrow, there are other people who are protective of their guy that they support right now because he appealed to them. When we see these tables and the cars flipping over, not in the same context, but in a different form or shape that could be similar to all of these things that you guys and everybody advocating until we still have the courage to come and talk about these things. Or will we give justifications, the old saying, We saw it happening here in Johnson. We see it happening on George. Why are we making issue of that? Will we come to that point at any point in time? This is unbelievable.
But I think from me though, I think by now you should know what I would do, because I've been here eating my own baby way before time. So because when it comes to Liberia, the interest of Liberia is way above any one political party or one politician that I support. If they go sideways, I will be on here calling them out for going sideways. But since we're talking all things considered, not everything can be politics in Liberia. And I want to talk about something that should not be politicized, but that everybody should come together in trying to fix. Is the issue of LU or UL, whatever name you want to give it. A few weeks, I think a week or days ago now, the results came out for the entrance exam. And over 50% of the people who sat the exam did not pass it. This is not the first time that this is happening. The University of Liberia entrance examination should be a system check to whether or not institutions are, if the test is drawn based on the standards that Ministry of Education sent out about what is expected of a high school graduate. If they're basing it on that, then that should be a system check for the ministry to go back and check all these institutions and see if they are implementing the curriculum with fidelity. Otherwise, the LU cannot continue to function this way. This is a disservice to our people. And it's not a pride to say people took this test and only 20% pass it. It is not a pride to have a majority of your, I'm speaking as an educator, it is not a pride to have a majority of the people fail your examination. So there has to be a way where the ministry is checking along with the leadership at the University of Liberia without politicizing stuff to see what is going wrong. Are they drawing these entrance exams from things that they think people should know, or are they drawing it from the approved high school curriculum and standards as set forth by the Ministry of Education? Because the answer to that would determine how issues should be approached. Are people just sitting there and drawing tests out of the Team Blue Sky and people are failing and they're happy? Or are the schools actually in Liberia not following the Ministry of Education set curriculums and guidelines with fidelity? And if that is the case, then we got to start holding schools accountable and trying to make sure that these schools get the help they need. Otherwise, they be shut down. I just want to put it out there that this cannot be politicized, because people who failed that entrance were seditionists, were LPP partisans, were Unity Party partisans. They were my cousins, they were my brothers, they are your brothers, they are future senators. And I think these are stuff that we need to look at holistically as a nation and not politicize it. But this has to be fixed. For too long, LU has been running this way. It has to be fixed.
Okay, as like the tradition, we always, regardless of our disagreement, we also make recommendation here. Quickly, here, since you on the Sissy, if you were asked to make recommendation, what could be the first step that they should initiate?
The first thing they should look at first is to start looking at, when you give a test, there are strengths, there are standards, right? So say, for example, the math. If a lot of the people fail geometry, the geometry items that the people fail, what does that correspond to the standard? Does that mean that a lot of the schools are not teaching that part of the geometry standard, assuming that the test creators were basing the test on the national standards and the national curriculum? That's the first place you got to check. Because once we check that, then we can start looking at, okay, well, maybe the schools are not doing their work. So then how do we make sure that the ministry is keeping these schools in check? Or is it the University of Liberia that's actually not creating the test based on the standards set forth by the ministry? And if that's the case, then the University of Liberia has to fix that. But that's the first place we got to check, to start seeing what are people feeling. And are those things that people feeling, are they required? Are they the standard set forth for a graduation requirement in the Republic of Liberia? We actually have to check that. And like I said the last time when CDC came to power, for me, education is not political. I am a poor man's son. I am a poor woman's son. My mom dropped out of school in the 3rd grade. We are willing, we are available to help. If it's George Weah presidency, if it's Comey presidency, if it's Bwaka presidency, if it's Tiawan presidency, we are willing to help to sit down to try to make sure we fix some of these things. Because for me, at the end of the day, people who go to LU are going to be my brothers. They're going to be my sisters. And it doesn't matter whether they're seditionists or Unity partisans or LP people. They're still Liberians. And Liberia is going to need their talent for us to grow.
Okay, we're going to be doing the closings argument now, recommendations, and what could be done regardless of our own political attachment. Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks to all of you for the interaction. And also thanks particularly to Mr. Marley, who came to term with all of us today. And I think he had removed himself from that praise singing of the CDC government. The CDC again won 14 out of 15 counties. They got 38.4%. And so they perform. And so filling a stadium can be done between the neighborhood of 20,000, 15,000 of its members that have been with them. But I'd like to say clearly here that the revelation by Mr. George about Austin Dibusi Wambodiki is troubling. It's troubling because of few things that we should look at. Austin Wambodiki went to the law school. He professed to have been a Liberian, meaning the fees that he should have paid as a foreigner, he could not pay that fees because he was considered a Liberian. It's a fraud. Austin Wambodiki was employed and appointed as Liberia Anti-Corruption Commission head, and only Liberians should occupy that position. So if he was a minister on oath, it means it was illegal and it was transgressive to our jurisprudence. He was appointed as governor's commission. So all these counts demonstrate, and also a counselor adored by the Liberia in the jurisprudence. It means that you cannot be a minister oath to the person, or if you're a minister oath to the person, immediately you should take into task for all of the crimes that you have committed. But let me end on this note. That thousands of Liberians are undocumented in Buruburu camp, where President Weah used to go, according to his memo, and give free things to people. After 6 years, the Liberia government is saying that they have no document to show of those people, neither the Ghanaian government. I think it is troubling. It requires us to put energy in it, and the president, who is noted for going to refugee camp, should take it as his major encounter. Senator Prince Johnson and Senator Snow accusation about counting money in the amount of 7.5 million and 5 million is troubling. Why the government are not paying it, what they are doing with it, why they are taking so long to go into the county account. SICO slowed down. SICO is a road construction company. They are slowed down and pack all equipment from Cycle PA. Road is very good because it brings commodity close to us. The members that workers are saying they slow down because the first phase of the job that was done, they have not been paid. And so we count on government to do the right thing. That's all that people elect people for. And then lastly, the East International, we want to know who this company will outsource to. Calling president, we are a full-body president. No one should get angry with it. President Weah is the only president. Even Samuel Doe play on stadium. President Weah is the only president that have regular leave on every street. So we are not making it. This is the quality of the president. It is not the debasing. And so I just want to say, we will say all that we can say on the platform to educate our people, but we all need to put our voice together to correct the National Elections Commission, to conscientize our people about what is going on. And we know that amongst the opposition leaders, we could do ranking per where we come from, each of us, but we can certainly say with all and stuttering that all of the opposition leaders can demonstrate high level of leadership far better than President Weah. And it is only the challenge of how we come together.
Thank you so much. Okay, Mr. George Don Cotto.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Mr. So. I just want to talk to our brothers today that I not satisfied of the way I approach, uh, Josh Weah as a footballer. I don't understand because anybody, whatever career you have had, you are addressed by that career title. So calling Josh Weah a footballer does not demean him in any way. I'm only, like emphasizing his career that he has achieved. And I know my brother who came here and even talking about education not important, he is striving to get a doctorate degree. If you are striving to get a doctorate degree, what are you striving to get a doctorate degree? Is to come out and get an output that people will benefit of. I don't think he's going to get a doctorate degree and go put it on his bed. Whatever career he's getting that doctorate degree is to come and perform the task as to how he have achieved his doctorate degree. So what all we are saying here, I don't hate Joshua as an individual, but I hate what our Liberian people are going through. I'm not there now. I don't have to be sitting here and be discussing issue about Liberia. But because we have people that are affected greatly, and once they are affected greatly, we all here are affected greatly. It's why we are discussing these issues. It's unfortunate that people will die under this government, and people don't consider that as something wrong under this government. It is unfortunate that corruption will be going on this government, and people will not consider it because I am friendly with Mr. George or because I'm friendly with Mr. Sissy. Mr. Sissy does it wrong, and I consider to accept Mr. Sissy's wrong because he's my friend. I'm not one of those to sit and encourage such a thing. We are saying all of these things because we love our people, including George Weah. I cannot divorce myself from George Weah not being my president. There is no way. He is the president of Liberia. So anything that is done contrary to the people of Liberia, against the people of Liberia, automatically affect me because I'm a Liberian. So that's why from that point we are speaking. I don't hate George Weah. Why would I hate George Weah? I don't. But what the Liberian people are going through is what my concern is. So let us, if Keto thinks that Joshua is doing well, let Keto sit there. He shouldn't run campaign. They shouldn't go and start paying people. They shouldn't buy laptop for people. They shouldn't go and start giving people money as we speak. I was with not Friday, Saturday. I was with somebody who was closely related to the marketing association. They went giving money to the marketing association and giving them bundle of laptops, as we all do. So why are you giving this to the people? If you think they love you, call them like you used to do before. Liberians used to go we are calling them to go and print t-shirts. They used to print their whole body. They used to bring their t-shirts to be printed. But you are taking the people resources. That's why I was telling Mr. Jones, that's not development. That's taking the people money, like embezzling, as we call it, or stealing, as we call it, because that's their own money you're taking to use it against them. So let us try. Everything we are saying here is the benefit of our country. I have not come here to be against anybody, my brother, whoever you think you are, that I'm against George Weah for his career. I love his career. Myself enjoy the football career, but he's not doing better as a president. So we must admit that he's not doing better for our country. So to my
Thank
point,
you so much.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you very much tonight.
Marley Jones. So you used a strategy. You say you were going, and so you wanted to get.
He finished. He's not supposed to talk. He said you were going.
Yeah, that's very true. There have been some changes in the itinerary. However, I want to take my hat. I want to take my
laughing like that.
Yeah, I want to take my hat for the first time to Brother Sissy, the issue he raised about the problem at the university there. It's something that we really need to think about. And I want to side with him on that for the first time anyway. And I also want to take my hat off to our senior contributor, Amos George, the issue he raised about this guy with all his baggages he was carrying in our country. They have elevated him to citizenship. Is worrying. But here is the challenge. The challenge here now is, are the opposition who are in waiting to take over the executive mansion prepared to take the issue by the bull? Because this is a very, very serious issue. Are they prepared? I'm waiting to see, because it's a really challenge, to be frank with you. Yes. And lastly, I will also want to throw this out there that I want to do a lot of services to our presidential candidate out there, we as followers. And doing services means let us not waste time on things that resonate with your base. Let us not waste time on those things. Because if I said your education has got problem, and you are a sedition, and they say, oh, there are no problem there, don't waste time with that. Just forget about it. Because in his camp, they have got people with a mindset, no matter what you say, they're not going to listen to you. So you forget about that and go to the issue.
The Trumpers?
Yes. And the last thing now is to my sister Koto. No one hate Joe Weir. That's a fact. But I don't want Joe Weir to be a focus here. What should be a focus here should be the output of his work should be our focus. Because the direction Joe Weir is taking the country in now is not a good direction. Should we focus on him? Because when I'm talking about focus, we'll be talking about his football.
How can you say that? He's not an ordinary person. He's not like me.
No.
I'm coming now. He's the president.
No, Mr. Director, I agree. I don't want if I were running a campaign for a political party, I will have to waste so much time on the issue Joe we have created for this country. That's why I would rather waste time.
Who is the origin of that issue?
Yeah, because I noticed we are spending
those issues.
I agree, Director. I noticed we are spending more than 95% time on Georgia than addressing the issue Georgia has created. This is where I'm coming from.
Okay,
we need to change those messaging.
All right. Well, guys, what a great evening. I thank you so much again to all our viewers, our listeners, callers. Please, whatever time.
But you let Keto say a parting comment or a phone hang up.
You make Keto to leave long time.
So the Mr. never hang up.
So you cause the matter run away.
Let me say my parting comment so we can listen. You see that you don't throw the rock, then you hide your hand. So let me say this.
What do you want to say?
The Universal Library is a legitimate issue, very concerning. You look at the record here, the record on funded result. And I think the Universal Authority supposed to come up to explain how they draw the test. Is it based on from the Ministry of Education standard, or is that something that Universal look at and say, okay, this is a test we want to draw from this perspective, from what we look at. So those are two things I think the university need to explain to the Liberian people. Because if they are not doing so, that means they are not helping the Ministry of Education. Because they gave the test, all the students failed. And the Ministry of Education, they're not asking the question too. So I think there's a gap between these two institutions. The Ministry of Education and that of the university is supposed to sit down and work together to see how they draw this test. Because as Cecil was saying, supposing it's chemistry is the problem. Then the Ministry of Education have to go back to those schools and say, hey, what is happening? Most of the students are failing in chemistry. What is the curriculum you're teaching? What is your standard? Let's see your lesson plan. So we can make sure that the right thing is passed on to the students. Well, time, remember, as the exam gave it, they just pronounced, that's it. 25,000 students today, 5,000 passed. Some doing remedial in English, some doing remedial in math. That's it. They're not giving you the breakdown. So we don't know where is this problem coming from. So I think the Ministry of Education and the University Library are supposed to speak on this issue. And the next thing I talk about Womandiki, Mother was saying something. Opposition, yes. Opposition can take this issue. And any Liberian can raise the issue with the court if the action of Womandiki has affected them. They can raise an issue with the court because what he did there was completely wrong. And we are government. Yeah, he got job on Ellen, okay, but we are government. This thing was exposed. And the Ministry of Justice, the sad thing is the Ministry of Justice, the Supreme Court then referred the matter to the Ministry of Justice. But the Ministry of Justice sat down there surprised and said, well, Mondigi, can't go back and apply to the Immigration Service to get your citizenship. You have not committed any crime as far as we are concerned.
Okay, guys.
Well, the question I asked, will a Liberian benefit from that same thing in Nigeria or Ghana? I know the answer is hell no. You will be on the plane back to Liberia. But this is the kind of government that we having. That people do this kind of thing and they continue to elevate. And now the man got an office on 19th Street. He got an office now on 19th Street. The only people that raising the issue now is the National Bar Association. Saying that no, they're going to question now whether he will practice law as an attorney or not, or as a counselor. They are saying that they're going to raise that issue. But the other people, it's all done. And these are the things, these are the ills that some are speaking under this government.
I think he and Mariah Yakula will start practicing the same time together.
No,
it's not a politics for Mariah.
That's a bad order deal for the from the Supreme Court.
The man is Councillor Austin Wabodiki, Dibusi Wabodiki. He been Councillor a long time.
Jonathan, my time when I want Jonathan 6 straight.
He's so confident. All right. Guys, ladies, we want to thank you so much. And to all our followers, your comments, your tweet, and even the callers, what a great way of and to our own guy, our correspondent in Bon County, Greater Liberia, Betting Ike Tano. Thank you so much joining us this morning hour from Liberia. This is a Paco you were talking about.
My uncle gone.
Who?
You see, today I said nothing about my uncle.
Uncle sir?
Your uncle gone. Your uncle had
a today. Uncle sir, nothing today.
You tell me, say I'm waiting to that. I mean, yeah, what my nephew will say. As soon as I hear from my nephew, I call him right there. So these are the pack up you are talking about. You are making reference to, right?
Yes.
Sunday. Was it Sunday? Nima TV reported the story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, okay, guys, lady, thank you so much. What a great way to,
good night, guys.
I mean, thank you so much. For the commitment and to the Liberian people, not just only to this network. Thank you so much.
So, Jonathan.
Where's that? Jonathan already gone. Where you want? You want to your ANC thing? Can you please call him, please?
No, not ANC thing. Me, I don't watch my dad in the street. So, Jonathan.
Yeah.
When you get in the mansion and how you treat people, I've been calling you, I text you, you never responded.
Oh boy.
Right, John, let me call you after the show.
There you go.
And see, so you see?
I want you. No, I want you, Bajo.
The message.
You know what, dear?
Yeah, but the hell will hold one another.
I went to play. Listen to me. I went to play. I go help you. I went where? Where to go help you?
Okay, guys. Thank you. Good night, man. All right. Betty, thank you so much for chilling in. I think I get a lot of numbers. Some of the folks that are contesting in Bangladesh and other places, we need to start having a conversation with them. Well, folks, thank you so much for your time this evening, for being part of today's conversation. Until then, have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye.
Just let it go. If someone killed for you before, they kill your mother and they kill your father. They kill your wife and make your children homeless. Oh yeah. They kill your husband and your children fatherless. Let it go. Let it go. Mama, let it go, yeah. Papa, let it go. It is painful, let it go. You borrow someone your money. Oh, mama, they don't want to pay. You have become a boo-boo man. Your best friend is not your secret enemies. Your mother-in-law don't even want to see you. At your job site, they call you good for nothing. I say in your family, they call you useless. But one day, Jesus will make you useful. So let it go.
Do you want to share your events with the world? Why not contact us? We are Liberia Public Radio, LPR. We are the specialists in advertisements, commercials, radio and TV services. We have the professionals that can help you sell your products and provide live coverage of all events such as weddings, conventions, graduations, reunions, anniversaries, sports, birthdays, baby showers, religious activities, funerals, and many more. Take your phone right now and call any of the following numbers: 682-433-8802, 267-648-6089, 484-786-3337, or 916-533-2048. Our customer service representatives are waiting to take your calls and give you the needed assistance. It is LPR, the home of excellent media services and your friends in business. Hello listeners, this is Mazola, the lover boy. I'd like to invite you to this exciting program. It is called Dancing for Jesus. It is intended to play beautiful inspirational music to help you turn your life to God. Join me on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is our way of showing appreciation to God for the good things He has done for us and continue to do. Don't miss this opportunity. Join Mazola Gizi on every Sunday from 12 noon to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the program Dancing for Jesus. Please be there because I will be here to rock it up for you.
Welcome to Fiber Queen of Woodland. Everyone that's looking for nice African for wedding, whatever fiber you need, you can just come over here. You have all this nice stuff. If you need ashebi, you guys can come over here for baby shower, for wedding. You guys are welcome. She had really nice stuff. You can see all over there, all those men over here. You don't have to go to the theater and then they're going to be telling you all kind of stories. You can just come here. They're already made. And for ladies, you can just look for whatever fiber you're looking for and match it for the men. And, your husband already have a shirt made. You can get stuff for your kids. You can get stuff for the whole family. We have African slippers and ashobi hair ties all over. We have different kinds of lists and everything. So you guys are welcome, okay? It's really nice. It's Fiber Queen on Woodland, 9695 off of Woodland. 6625 Woodland Avenue, okay? So you guys are welcome, 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 welcome. You have nice stuff here for ladies, for men, for kids, and for everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Fabric Queen of Philadelphia. Fabric Queen of Philadelphia is 100% African-owned business. At Fabric Queen, we are specialized in high-quality wax product, Swiss lace, jewelry, and beauty products that will make you shine like the queen of fabrics. We are located at 6625 on Woodland Avenue, 10 Philadelphia. Telephone number 215-800-0228. till the management of Fairbrace Queens in Philadelphia is Easy and Salt of the Liberia Public Radio gives you this message. Tell all Akwaba.